guys, we're out here on a mark. It's a new mark, going to give it a try. About, I don't know what we are, about 4 or 5 miles off, something like that, maybe a bit more. I'm going to be using Chum Bombs, which we use frozen fish. This is frozen, leftover, rancid, horrible, disgusting raptor oil that took me 3 days to wash off my hands when I was filling it up. I'm going to tie those. It's rank. I'm going to tie those onto the anchor chain, stab it a few times with a knife, and I'm hoping this will trickle down tide and attract some fish. So let's get this tied on, stab, drop down, and some rods out. Absolutely stinks. Well, Mike threw this one out. I got lucky because I got to the rub first and wound it in, but we didn't even feel the bite. And there is a pretty big jumbo pout in there. Now, the tide is horrendous today. It's absolutely raw, and I've got the biggest leads I can afford to mould. But that, to me, has got to be banged on the head, flappered, and put down on one of these big double hook rigs, because there could be conger, there could be big rays, outside chance for cod. And let's face it, this is what they're eating. He even unhooked himself. Let's get him on the fillet table. He nearly went through their lines. Well, fish on. It feels like a good one in the tide, but I'm sure if it was a really decent fish, it's a dogfish, they really do pull. We've got such heavy leads on. I'm only on an up tide rod with a small hook. Guys, when you're on boats, just grab that lead when you get a fish coming so it doesn't clatter you round the head, somebody else round the head, or the skipper's boat, because they don't like their boats bashed. There we go. Just fold the tail up like that. I've got real small hooks here. Might be able to get out with my finger. If you keep the tail tight. No, let's get, not break my lovely nails. Let's get a pair of pliers. It's out. So if you fold the tail to the head and bend it like that, it doesn't wrap all around the back of your wrist because it's got rough skin. Take your skin off. Look, only a dogfish. We've had pouting and dogfish. It's better than nothing, and it's a sign. When this tide eases, I feel we could come up with something decent. Fingers crossed. Whiting this time, guys. Just watch that lead. Quite a decent whiting. It's been up showing for your camera. Now it's just as the tide is starting to ease. That one is quite a nice whiting. Not far from what I would call frying pan size. Check it out there. It's on a piece of squid, 2 small hooks. And we also had a seal, didn't we, Mike? Come up down the...
Yeah, we saw a seal in
big
his
seal on
chopstick.
the stern. And that was exactly in line with our Chum Bombs. In line with the... in line with the bait. There he is. He's got little teeth there. There you can see those tiny little pin teeth. But we've got plenty of sandwiches, so he's going back. But he's actually just coughed something up. Let's have a look at this. This is what they're feeding on down deep. Are they small fish or are they bits of squid? I reckon they're small bits of sprat, sort of digested. And we're here now in the winter. What happens in the UK in the winter is the water will generally go clear with the frosts, and then the cod come up in the water and start eating and feeding on big shoals of sprat. When they do that, fishing really dies. That's the shore fishing. The beach fishermen don't do much good. The boat fishermen really struggle because the fish go feeding on the sprat. That indicates to me we're getting near the end of the cod season, and the whiting as well. They'll probably stay a bit longer, the whiting, because they eat smaller fish, but you know, you can see there, those were decent sized fish originally before they digested them. Let's get this bait back out and see if we can't pick up something a little larger.
I think there's something on here. Yeah, it's definitely a fish on here.
Maybe doggy or something like that?
I'm not sure, it's coming up in the water. There's a big old pouting.
Holy cow, that's a big one.
That is a big pouting. Yeah, that's a nice pouting. With a gut on it. That is a really good fish.
It's a cod-sized pouting.
Look at that. That's a heck of a... on a small hook.
Yes, on a freshwater hook.
That's a good fish, that. Nicely hooked as well.
On those small hooks, pretty good, yeah. I think they're sharp, and I think they just nick on it.
There you go. Yeah, it's a good fish.
Nice pouting.
That's a good fish. Put it back though.
Picture of Mills and Boone.
Huh?
Mills and Boone.
Mills and...
Mills and Boone.
What's that?
Ladies' books. Jane Austen.
No.
Bushcraft Billy.
No, Robert Jordan. Never heard of him, but apparently it's a good book. Fish on this. We're about to move spot because we're not getting as many bites, and it is another pouting.
Jumbo pout, yeah.
Oh, two pouting.
Wheel them in, hold a trace, double whammy.
There we go. Two pouting. We've had quite a few pouting today, actually, haven't we?
There have been some big ones. There've been some big ones, yeah.
One whiting, but we're going to move. It's all been very quiet at the moment. A lot of boats are not catching anything. The radio's been pretty quiet as well, so not many guys catching at the moment.
And we're losing a bit of gear too.
We are losing. We're getting snagged up as the tide's starting to turn, so we're going to change location. Well, the boats are going home, and it's been pretty dead for most of the afternoon. We've not had many bites, even the pouting have stopped biting. We're in a new spot now. We've not got long left, and we have, I think it might be a conger eel actually.
Different species, yeah?
Looks like an eel to me.
We'll check big lid.
Strap conger. Different species though. There we go. There we go. Not a massive conger, but on a day like today where the fishing's tough, we're pretty grateful.
What we call right species, wrong size.
Yeah. But we'll keep at it for what? How long?
Yeah, I think we've got about 40 minutes left.
Yeah, keep at it, you never know.
Well, it was great to have a fishing trip out on the boat with Mike. Even though the fishing was a little bit slow, everybody was slow that day, that's what I've got to say, guys. It was a superb day in the winter to be out, and we could have had a big fish, one big fish. You know what sea fishing is, could have turned that trip right around. But listen, I had to think about it. If all those other boats were quiet as well, there's nothing else that I could have done to improve it. One other thing to do, and that's being an all-round angler. I've got to hit that fresh water as fast and as hard as I can. Well, I'm here just on a quick one, as they say. Barely, I've been here half an hour. Had 3 nice rudd though. No carp, very, very still. I'm wondering if I should come back with maggots. It's just at that time in the winter when it changes over from what I call big baits, which I'm on bread, big hooks, big baits, to small baits, small hooks. You've got to do these little trips, you know, just to see when the bites are coming. And there's a beautiful mist coming up over there. A few anglers fishing, haven't seen one fish called little perch, tell a lie, little perch. But anyway, I'll see if I can catch one of these rudd for you. They're really nice looking fish. But I'm on an Avon rod, like free lining bread, touch ledgering. It's the only way I can get them. I can't be bothered to change to a float because it'll be dark in about 20 minutes. So I might have to come back on another trip and try and get some of these rudd in a net and show them to you, because they are really nice fish. They're not real monsters, but they're very good stamp and in good condition. I'll see if I can at least catch you one. I've got my big piece of bread there, and I've seen some small movements. In fact, I just had a little twitch on that. I wonder what the twitchy bites were. You can see the light still on there. Very, very small bite. I've struck it a couple of mist, and I think that's what they are, small rudd. So I'm figuring it should be maggots, casters, that type of thing, a small loose feed. Got floating crust out there. Occasionally they come and nibble on it. Got a fish on, and ironically, because I said I'm going to catch you a rudd, it looks like I've got a skimmer bream. There we go. Look, it's still a fish. In the winter, you're grateful for anything. He's going to flip water all over the lens, or he's going to fall on the grass. There he is. Skimmer bream. See if I can get you one of those rudd. And of course, you can get these on float on a match rod, maggots, casters as well. I think I've got a rudd on for you. Oh, I just wish I had a match rod and a nice float. Some maggots. Well, I'll catch them on bread, so does it matter? Look at the size of this rudd. In the winter, it is. Hope it doesn't flick all over the lens. That is a pretty nice fish, isn't it? Actually, it's a pretty fish. But a match one. I mean, they don't allow match fishing here as far as I know, which is good. Really good. That's why the fish are in good condition. You could probably get a good bag of these. So for the youngsters, tell them the difference between a roach and a rudd. The rudd has a protruding lower jaw, the roach doesn't. Dorsal fins a little bit farther forward on the roach, I feel, farther back on the rudd. Of course, those lovely red fins there. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good sussing out session, because I'm going to come back, definitely, with a match rod. Okay, so just so you know, I'm just using free lining. I've actually had a BB shot on there. I've taken that shot off and I've got a piece of flake here. Put it through the hook once, roll it around, and I pinch it tight, but only on the eye of the hook. So you do not want it masking that point of the hook. You want it to fluff up in the water and just stay on the hook by the eye. And obviously, I'm not going to be casting this too far, am I? I'll just dip it once and I'll swing it out about 2 rod lengths. That's all I'm getting. I'm putting the line across my finger. I'll touch ledger it. And my ledge rod on the left, that one's got a BB shot on it, just to sort of pinch it on the bottom. And I've got a bobbin on it, and it's on the buzzer, in case there's anything bigger there. And I've got some mashed up bread, quite a bit of mashed up bread, half a loaf. What we call slop, stodge they call it when we go river fishing for chub. They call it stodge down in on the Dorset Sterry. They say you're going stodging. Float fishing with bread. Just had a tap then. And I'm just tightening up to this free line bread. And unusual as it seems, I'm actually getting the rudd on the way down or on the bottom. But it's going to get dark in a minute. Beautiful mist coming up through there. It's lovely and still. I'm amazed there's no carp going up on the top, but they're not. And it's, I imagine, I don't know, but they've got all these ropes across here at the time I'm fishing. Somebody said to stop the birds landing, herons and stuff like that. And I'm not surprised, because those rudd are really valuable fish and nice fish to catch. And a heron can polish all those off. I mean, just look at the mist coming in across this water, just rolling in there. I can't believe there's not a carp down there. But there's not at the moment. And there's no bubbles in the swim where I've put all the bread in. 4:10, so getting dark very quickly. The camera doesn't show it, but it is pretty dark. And I think I've heard this time of year, which I find unusual. Got a pheasant over there in the copse. Are the owls in the daytime? I've heard quite a few owls, not just here, all over in the daytime, which seem to be a lot of owls about this year. There's a rudd out there, got some crust all over the place, and they're just nipping at it. I guess the water's a little bit too cold for them to take off the top. Who knows? There goes the pheasant, bang. There's a couple of characters coming around now. I don't know if they're the bailiffs, they look like the local rat catchers to me. Another white cat over there. These white cats, you think they have absolutely zero chances as predators hunting rats around here, but they absolutely nail them. I've heard them get rats middle of the day, white, all white, and they're in there, they get the rat, you hear the rat squealing away. So there's 1, 2, 3, there's probably more out here, and they're obviously predators. It's the owl. Well, the lights pretty well going now. I've got an isotope float, starlight float I'm going to put on. I just had the last 20 minutes here, but I think, although there's a little rud coming up on the top, on the bits of bread, there's no carp or anything. I'm just going to give it half an hour and I think I'm going to come back, because I slipped up. I didn't give myself enough time to actually get set up and get the swim going. I thought it would naturally come on at night, and it hasn't. So I think I've got to come back here. Fingers crossed, get to show you some really nice rud. But as usual, I'm going to give it another 20 minutes, half an hour. Well, I'm last one on the fishery. We can't even see me there, but you might be able to see, yes, this. I've just tied on with a bit of fishing line, one of those starlight tops. We're using these squid fishing recently. And I've frozen that one because they're liquid in there. Don't forget, the two liquids that you mix and crack a file and mix the two liquids together. So being liquid, you can freeze them. And that is one that has been used for catching squid, and now it's going to be used for catching whatever. Maybe rudd, who knows. I've got to give it a little bit longer. This fog, I'm hoping that this float might give me the edge. Well, I've got a fish here, guys. I don't know if you've got to see it or not. There, if I can just turn my head camera around, my torch, it's pitch black, and I call this one, there you go, probably won't focus the camera, on a nightlight float, starlight float tied to the top. It's actually an ordinary float, ordinary waggler, tied to the top, and I've had several rudd now. So, good sized fish, and I shall be back with a float rod. Oh, it looks quite spooky like this, doesn't it? Oh, boys, I'm back. And this time, I've got 2 match rods. Well, a match rod and a weird sort of feeder rod. I've moved upstream about the other side of a bush. I've got all the stuff out of my freezer. Frozen sweet corn, frozen maggots, frozen stuff. All the rubbish to clear out, but small. I've got a single stem waggler float because I want sensitive bites. Been here 5 minutes, I thought I'd have about 5 rad for you. No. Another guy's just come round, he said he's a carp fisherman, he's just looking. He's been blanking, he said, on all the hard carp water, so maybe it's just that time of year, but they should be feeding. So he's come here to save the day and catch something. He hopes, after hearing that last night I didn't see a single carp caught, but that's the way it is. So, I haven't gone overboard on the ground bait, I haven't gone overboard with the loose feed. I put some 4mm pellets into those Skrettings pellets because they actually feed with them here as well. In the winter it's really cold. They feed them, you know, just to keep the carp through the winter when it's tough. So I figure they're used to those, but I have to say, boys, I haven't had a beep on the one ledger rod, and I haven't had the float dip, dither, or even move. I can't make anything of it. I can't make head or tail of this. It's absolutely perfect fishing in the winter weather, and yet there's not a bubble in the swim. I thought there was something missing in the swim. Oh, up the tree again. I always park myself under this tree. That was on 2 maggots, little skimmer, but of course I'm on the right tackle now. I'm on the match rod. Oh. Even though they're not showing on the top, maybe I can work this swim up. All is not lost, guys. I've got floating bread crust down there. I'll show you on the surface. Let's get this one out. Okay, some people actually ask me why float fishing. Obviously I've got a ledger on the left, you can see the bob in there. Why I actually use the buzzer, the bite alarms, but of course if I'm filming and I'm looking around or I'm messing with the camera, I'm going to miss the float going, and I don't want to lose a rod, although the reel's on back wind. So that means the handle can go backwards, you shouldn't get dragged in. But it just gives me that audible warning, should I get a fish. Now I've also, even though it's winter, I've put bread crust, floating bread out there, bits of sort of 1 inch square bread, sopped up, thrown out in various places, because there's every chance that could bring the run up towards the surface. When they nibble on that, I can start shallowing the float up and fishing shorter and shorter and shorter, and hopefully get the rudd. At the moment I'm starting deeper, so I see no movements on the surface. Well, over here in the chuck wagon, that's all I've got for my own grub. I've got to make sure I don't throw my own sandwiches in. I've got just sliced bread, a nice healthy Robinson's fruit and barley orange juice there. Couldn't be bothered to make tea, it's that mild. So I'm breaking up this and throwing it on the surface, but I'm holding back the crust in case something bizarre happens. Actually, I should open my unhooking mat in case it means I'm going to get a bigger fish. Are you guys superstitious like this? Anybody out there do the same thing, have a little routine they go through? It could be good luck, could be bad luck. Then, in the bucket here, I've got, these are frozen casters, frozen maggots from a previous trip. And of course you can use those on a barbless hook, because they won't wriggle off. I might try some of these things, which are called jelly pellets, which I've frozen about 9 times. I've got these things, I'm not selling them, you know, like these people that plug all their baits. I thought I'd put my thumb over it, they are. They're called match mints, they're a minty flavoured 7 and 9 mil pellet. But at the moment I can't get them to stay on the hook, so whether they have to be banded or whatever, I don't know. That's got white amino on it. Allegedly good for bream. What else have we got down here in the rubbish? Oh my god. Oh no. What's in here? Bits of old ground bait, mixed up, bread and bran from previous trips, frozen. In fact, that's still got ice in it. And down below that I've got, now they're floating casters, because they've gone black, so they should float. Let's try them down here. And they sink. A few floaters. We're going to be throwing those out as well, but you can see out there, all the bread I've got is untouched by man or beast. I have the lake to myself, and this other chap's just turned up, and he's hoping to catch a carp from over there somewhere. So he's been complaining, he's been blanking on a lot of other carp waters. He wants to come here to catch something, fished here before, done pretty good I think. As we all have, but it appears perhaps not today. I think, do you know what, with that float, I think I'm going to plumb the depth and get that right on what we call dead depth. Even though there's no bubbles there, there could still be fish on the bottom. I'm purely saying this because that last fish I had was a skimmer. Generally, they would be a bottom fish. But, you know, if you feed regularly, little and often, you can bring them up. But until I get some bites, I can't really sort of adjust my feed. This is one of the problems you get in the winter, is actually knowing how much or how little to feed. And I see no point in heaving a load of ground bait in there if there is no bubbles and there's no movement. Hopefully it's not going to be a tough one again. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I've got a big bag of frozen supermarket sweet corn now as well. Not gone too heavy on it with the feed, but I've got plenty of stuff to throw in here. But I'm gonna plumb this depth again. I sort of mentally remember how deep this swim was. So you get yourself a plumb bob, which if you could see it, is one of those. Get them from your tackle shop. I'll show you how to use it. You just basically put your hook onto that, through the eye, into the cork. So obviously this will pull the float right under because it's too heavy for that float. And then as it sinks under the water, the float, you lengthen your drop from your hook to your float a bit more, a bit more, a bit more, until the float just sits up. Then if you put it up too much, it will lay flat, unless you got the shot under the float, obviously like a self-cocking float, self-righting float we call it. So I'm going to say, because I've seen that drag and drift a little bit, that I'm possibly off the bottom. I might get more bites if I'm on the bottom. Let's give it a go. Nothing to lose. Well, that's better. I've actually plumbed the depth and was indeed about a foot or so off the bottom. So you can only try and go hard on the bottom. And normally I would put, I don't know, something small like a number 8 shot about this far from the hook to make sure it just doesn't drag out the swim. But the wind is coming off the back of me. I'm going to put the brolly up here behind me in a minute and it would drag. That stops it dragging. But I took a gamble because I'm really trying to catch rudd, especially after last night. I get like 6 fish last night. Come here this morning, set up a rudd, get none. They might come in the last hour of dusk. Anyway, as the old saying goes, you've got to be in it to win it. Got my woolly hat. It's so mild, it's ridiculous. It's really about, I think it's 11 degrees today, which in the middle of winter is most acceptable. But I'm like this other guy, I think, why are the fish not feeding? I don't understand. In fact, he's been walking in the other lake already, throwing bits of bread in. He's already gone to the other lake, he's been there 15 minutes. When it's dead, it's dead. You just need to see movement. That's what you need to see. Movements of bubbling, a few little tweaky bites, just something to tell you there's fish there. Then you can adjust your feed, either more, little, little and often, a bit heavier. You've got to work out the number of bites you'll get in every sort of 10 or 15 minutes. Oh, I missed that one. Are you there, Smith? Making me miss that? Miss? You making there? Miss that, are you, Smith? How I missed that one, I don't know. It almost sent me a telegram. Reel for my ledger rod here. Just got, I think it's £5 line on it. That size is a 2500 ml old Aero, and my close face reel there is the one I'm using for float fishing. I think it's got £4 line on it, so I quite like the close face. Occasionally get the odd tangle internally where the line goes around the spring, and the rod cost me £1. I just had to get it from the refuse tip, gave the guy £1 for it, and put a couple of rod rings on. Had a lot of fish on it. So the float's just sitting out there, got it shotted pretty well down there. Fish have barely got to move that, what, less than half an inch to give me a register of bite. And hopefully it's not going to drag out the swim too much. I mean, at this stage with no bites, obviously it doesn't really matter, but if I don't get any bites on the bottom, I'm going to start feeding more regularly and try up on the surface, but I'm amazed nothing's knocking those pieces of bread yet. Last night's rat catching, secret, totally camouflaged, brilliant white cat is back with me again for a bit of company, and he's so impressed, he's gone to sleep. Well, there we go, people. A second skimmer bites the net. Well, it didn't even. This is a swinger, not even a netter, but still, a fish is a fish on a winter's day. Well, there we go. Up the tree, out of the tree, and target species achieved, albeit not on the float. Can you believe this? On the ledger, hard on the bottom. Nice little rudd. Don't ask me what it's doing on the bottom. I don't understand it. I'm supposed to be fishing for rudd near the surface, and it's taken a ledger bait. Bunch of maggots. But I've had about 10 skimmers now. Didn't bother filming them for you. I think I missed one decent fish. But if I can get these rudd going, I'll be a happy bunny on a winter's day. And on the float rod as well, a skimmer. I wonder, is everything going to be coming on the feed? I've got barely, not even 2 hours fishing left. It is slow, guys. More skimmers, but at least getting rudd here. Do you know, it's one of those days where what we call scratching. You're just scratching to get bites. Changing hook sizes, changing baits, big baits, small baits, red maggots, white maggots. In fact, if I could catch a load of those all day, I'd be happy, but they are very patchy. However, that can be UK winter fishing. Well, seems like that little and often feed is paying off, and that's what I'm happy with. A nice big rudd. So, target achieved. Get the most that you can out of those mild days in the middle of winter. If it's mild, you've got to go for it. You've absolutely got to give it a go. And that one, if it doesn't flick off my fingers, I feel is a very presentable little rudd for winter fishing. So fish shouldn't even be feeding in the winter. So Lord knows what's happening with our global warming, but I'm grateful for it. Of course, I'm not going home yet, am I? No, sirree. Still, the skimmers are coming. See one carp that might have moved on the surface. So what I am getting now is a bit of a sense of what they're actually taking. I mean, it could be late afternoon, which in the winter is always good, that last hour or so with the lights getting low, although it's been pretty cloudy all day today. And it appears to be 3 maggots. Doesn't matter if it's red or white, because they're frozen and dead anyway. And then follow up with some of those pellets and a few maggots in loose feed. You get the bites pretty well within about a minute or so afterwards. Could well be a sign of rudd. A few maggots. So you can see there, look, it looks yucky mush. But at the end of the day, it's all frozen stuff left over that I've had from a previous trip. It's not wasted. Trust me, the fish eat everything. My ledger wood, you might see I've changed to the other side. There he goes. Oh, I missed that one. Goes to the other side, and I've actually... Oh, I think I'll go. See what this is. Small fish, but you see just after that feed went in, it could be just what they want. On the bread on the surface, nothing. I've just realised this is even making me feel better, because my bread was left over from last night. The maggots are frozen, left over from another trip. The sweet corn's frozen, left over from another trip. So my fishing is all free. Free bait. There we go. What's this? What's this? Just talk amongst yourselves. Come on. Oh, looks like a nice rudd. Oh, they gallop. Really incredibly stupid. Kids don't ever swing a fish like this, but I just got... Oh, yes. Oh, get in. Keep still, boy. You're going on YouTube. Feast your eyes on that. A fine winter rudd on the float. My goodness me. It's all turning out good in the end. It's the time of day, it's the feed. I've got to get working on this swim now. I suppose I've had about 15 skimmers. Man, that's a nice rudd to catch. I better show you one last look in case. Oh, not all over me. Not all over. He's sliming me terribly. In case I don't get another one. I think you'll agree that's a crackerjack fish for the winter. Oh, here we go, boys. We've got them going now. If I keep catching fish of this stamp, I will not be disappointed with the day. Well, just so, look, if I use live maggots, there's no question, I might catch more. They'd certainly go on the hook a little bit easier, and they'd probably stay on a little bit longer. But it doesn't matter. This was a last-ditch trip. I mean, I was here last night. You were with me. You didn't realise it, but you were all with me last night. You saw what the score was. The mist was coming off the water. I was struggling, and Got one on my other ledger rod, tweaking away here. Not being greedy, I'm going to cast that one out first. And then pick this one up. This one is a barely liftable skimmer. These skimmers can be quite annoying. They flick water all over the lens. But there you go. Definitely having a good session. Oh, there's a float going. Oh, double whammy, guys. Do you remember the last time I did it? It was a £20 12-ounce carp, and I wanted to have about 12. First. Oh, man. Oh, I'll show you these two fish together if I can. I shouldn't be swinging it, should be netting them. Lovely stamp of fish. Back you go. The ledger rod, by the way, is up the beep tree, so I feel he's out of commission. Might just concentrate on the float. It's a rudd, it's a monster. No, it's a proper bream. It's down here, can't get you a good picture of it, but hopefully we get him in the net. Float has gone 42 times around the other rod top. Sweet. Now listen, here's a little tip. Can you see all that slime up the line? That's from the breams wrapped around his body, because breams are very slimy. So if you get a bite and you miss it, if you've got slime like this up your sleeve, then you'll know it's a bream. But there we go. It turned into a good session, but I've literally got that one last golden hour. And boy, is that why they call it the golden hour? It is, isn't it? Ah, another biggish bream, boys. Because we've got the landing at this side. Got my tangle sorted out. It was a horrendous nightmare. Luckily I didn't have to tackle up against. I hate tackling up. I hate shotting floats. But nice to get bream as well. Those as well. Another nice one. It took me a while to get organised with what size baits to use. It's like bouncing between 2 and 3 white maggots seems to be doing the trick for me now. And as I say, plenty of those 4mm pellets going in on a regular basis. Long may it continue. And it does. Ledger's up. And I could barely work 2 rods at the moment. I've got a 3-rod ticket, that's a scary thing. Or licence they call it. Another nice rud. Wonder how long this will last. I can tell the weather's starting to blow up a little bit. The other chap's caught absolutely nothing in this lake, and he's just moved over to the other lake, so one assumes we've been throwing some bread in there. Get that chap back. He might have seen a fish move. Can be tough in the winter, can be very, very tough. Got a result, guys. I've got just going to get this skimmer off, who was skating my float across the surface, but on the ledger rod. Get one back. I've got him in the net here. Surprise for you. Get this out. This time of the day you do not want to waste 1 minute. I've got the fish. This is a nice surprise for me. There we go. If you hold still, he's hold still. He's going to surprise everybody on YouTube. Here it comes. Oh my god, a nice perch. Bunch of dead maggots. Just about to spike me. Get his fin up for you. Bunch of dead maggots. Good little trip now, isn't it, eh? Goodness me. And it's still not dark yet. Fingers crossed. A few more bites to come. Just goes to show that bonus rod, the ledger, Hasn't caught anywhere near as many fish as the float has, but picks up one bonus fish, nice quality perch. Bit of fish all together here, guys, on the ledger. Quite a decent sized bream, this one. It's just as well because it's getting, doesn't look it from the camera, but it's actually getting dusk. I can barely see the float. Here we come. Get this one on the mat and show it to you. This one's definitely fish of the day. Definitely. There we go. It's a nice bream, people. What a session. Got his fin up for you as well. That's a nice looking fish. That was about 6 or 8 maggots on the ledger. I just saw the bobbing go up nice and smooth and slow. Actually, I thought I was going to miss a fish. It turned into this lump. What a session. I'm going to finish with this one and say thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Watch out for Mike's TA Outdoor Show, which is going absolutely mad. And I'm so pleased this guy hasn't flapped around and covered my face in bream slime. We'll see you again after I've had my last cast. I think they're taking it on the drop now, people. There you go. Absolutely pretty sure they're taking that on the drop. Two fish on the same maggot. Same free maggot. Can we go for 3? 3 fish, 3 for 3. 3 for 3, free. Oh, we can. 3 for 3 on a free maggot. Shouldn't be lifting those, shouldn't be swinging those. Check that one out, boys. So you can see that actually changing from sea over to freshwater, managed to catch a few fish. Thanks for following us. Thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Don't forget Mike's other channel, the sister channel. I don't know how to put this. It's over 700,000 subscribers. Mad, mad. But hit that button as well. Hit your little tingly bell that tells you when both channels are putting films up. It saves you go looking for them. You just know when it's up. And of course, you can watch it when you want. You don't have to watch it there and then. You can watch it at your leisure. We'll see you next time, and don't forget, Totally Awesome also do a range of clothing. We'll see you next time.